Hello, welcome back to the garden. So I just finished my failed long run. That's a story for another time. And I had thought midway through, it's spring, it's running season, loads of events have started. You might have seen even marathons and half marathons piping up. You might even have signed up one for yourself. I know me and my friends, aside from the marathon, me and my friends have signed up to the Bristol 10K coming up in May. And you might be in full running mode, full training mode, deep diving into that training routine, or maybe you just had a New Year resolution. We talked about that before. A New Year resolution to run 1 kilometer, to run 2 kilometers, whatever that might be, and you've signed up to a training plan or a running plan that running influencers offered, or like a runner plan or a Strava plan. Whatever that looks like, you might have seen this thing called a long run. And now that you've seen those words, long run, you're asking, I don't really want to do that. You might even be asking, what does that even mean? What does that mean? You might be asking the question, what is a long run? What is a long run? I think it means different things to different people. If you're attempting to run, learning to run, trying to run, a long run could be different things to you compared to someone else who's trying to run a marathon for the first time. So today I thought we can demystify a little bit, and I can share with you some of what it looks like in my own training. So as the name suggests, it is a longer run than usual. How you approach it might different depending on the goal that you've set yourself or the event that you're trying to sign up to achieve. For example, I'm currently running for a marathon. So a marathon, which is 42.2 kilometers. And the longest run I would have done for it would have been 36 kilometers. But you might be trying to run, you might have a very different goal to me. You might be just trying to run without breaks for 1 kilometer. You might be trying to complete a park run. You might have signed up for a 10K. So obviously your long run wouldn't be 36 kilometers. For me, I like to think of long runs as the longest run I'll be doing throughout the 1 week. Many weeks build up to a training block or training period. And for me, the long run is the longest run of that week. And because the long run will probably be the most strenuous run, so I like to plan around that run. Most people I know work 9 to 5s on Mondays to Fridays, so their long runs will likely be on the Saturday and Sunday. However, I work Saturdays and I go to church on Sunday. So my long runs normally happen on my day off during the week, and that usually is Thursday and Friday. So the day before or after the long run, so the day before after the long run, I try to plan easier or no runs at all. And my second most intense run, which is normally the interval, the speed session, I try to put it as far away from that as possible. So if my long run is going to be on Friday, my interval session is normally Monday or the Tuesday. So now you might be asking, how long should my long run be? If you're currently training for a goal, let me know what your long runs are in the comment section below. I love to know what everyone's doing right now. Generally speaking, your long run should be about 80% of the target goal or the distance you're trying to run in your event. So if your goal is to run 5 kilometers non-stop by the end of the month, you might want to spend the weeks running up to it, building up to it. So week 1 might look like the long run will be 2.5 kilometers non-stop. Week 2 might be 3.2 kilometers non-stop. And then week 3, 4 kilometers, and then finally hitting your 5K goal on week 4. Now, in between, you're going to put in a lot of different kinds of runs. Some people do up to 3 runs a week, a slower run, or slower, easier run with lots of gaps in between, and maybe like a harder run doing sprints or speed sessions. If you sign up to a 10K, your longest run during your training might be an 8-kilometer run. Saying that, there is no one-size-fits-all solution. Everyone works differently. When I signed up to do my first 10K, I was really concerned as to whether or not my mind is prepared to run the full 10K. I know physically I can, but I've never done it before, so I don't want any doubt to play in my mind. So on my long runs, I have done multiple 10K runs at slower speeds, just to try out what that 10 kilometer looks like. But the general rule of thumb is that the longer your target distance is, the more prevalent the 80% rule should be, or the 80% guide should be. Because you also be building up mileage throughout the week, throughout the weeks and months that you're training up. Running up to 80% is meant to be an injury management tool, a mechanism to help you go as much distance as you can while not building up too much load to cause an injury. Knowing when to stop is as important as going far. As your distance starts to build up, you will need to start considering what your route looks like. You might have questions. Do I want to run into certain neighborhoods? Do I need to start sort of bringing gel and water along with me? Personally, I don't like lugging things along with me. I don't like taking bottles. I don't even take my phone, which I know, peak male privilege. I don't have to really be concerned about needing to call anyone for safety reasons. So any runs below 90 minutes, I don't tend to bring my phone just because I don't like bringing things with me. But you might want to be thinking about whether or not you want to bring water with you. You might want to wear a vest. You might want to wear a belt. I don't even wear a belt now because it's starting to give me chafing. So what I found that has worked for me is that I needed to find what my limit was. Through discovery, I found that up to half marathon distances, if I'm running at a relatively easy pace, I don't really need to drink water. So I normally only take a few gels with me and my phone, and off I go. But you might be someone that want to do that. So for me, I have a route plotted, a half marathon-ish distance plotted. That I know there will be a few shops along the way. If I really need water, I can just buy water on my way with my phone or with my watch. But as for now, in my marathon training block, I need to think a lot more ahead because, like I said, my long runs are 30 to 36 kilometers. And when you start having to plot out those distances, you might even get lost. Once again, I don't like taking stuff with me, so I take my gels. But what I do is that there's roughly a 6.2 kilometers loop around my house. So what I do is I put my hydration on my front drive, and I just do those loops until I get to my long run distance and stop to drink to sort of simulate drinking from water stations on my marathon, effectively like a quick pit stop. I don't have to think about my route. I know the route well, and it helps me simulate getting water from the water stations because I'm not planning on taking water this marathon. So these are my thoughts on what a long run looks like. Let me know what your thoughts are. What are your current plans on your long runs look like at the moment? Otherwise, have fun, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.